Alright, hello guys. We're gonna review a movie we just watched recently, a couple of nights ago. Mandalorian and Grogu. Now, those of you who have been on this channel for a while know that we have reacted to some Star Wars stuff. I think the only thing we have Star Wars related right now on the channel is Andor, right?
Yeah.
But we have seen pretty much almost everything in its entirety that's out there. There are a few
We
things.
put out that Tales of the Underworld thing, didn't we?
Yes,
But other than
yes.
that, not really.
And I have the kids one that you haven't watched. Yeah, we do have like a few things Star Wars related. But anyway, what I was getting to is Adar and I love anything Star Wars related. And yes, we do watch The Mandalorian. That is not on the channel because the last season was before we had this channel up and running, and any future seasons will be on the channel. But we went to see this movie as a family. We love Mando, we love Grogu, and I think in general we were pretty excited to see it because of the trailers. And we took my husband, it was recently his birthday. He also loves the Mandalorian TV show. So yeah, we're here and we're going to talk about how we felt. You know, we probably both have different points of view on things, you know. Dara obviously has the perspective of someone that's experienced the Star Wars world since the, I would say 2010s, probably. That's what you start remembering. Myself, I've been around much longer, so...
You did show me the originals first, so I actually saw those before I saw the Anakin movies, or like even Clone Wars.
I wanted to introduce you to the OGs, you know, the ones that I grew up with, you know.
I was never really that into like the Clone Wars animation either. Like I just never really got into it. I feel like there were certain episodes that I remember watching, but as a whole, I've never really watched it.
We were
just discussing
the possibility of putting that on the channel because I did watch some of the Clone Wars, but I never finished it. We did finish Rebels in its entirety. At least I did. Did you watch that with me? No.
I didn't.
No.
I have general knowledge about it the same way
because
I have
talked about it with you.
General knowledge about Clone Wars.
But... Yeah, maybe it would be interesting to at least include Clone Wars. Or I don't know, maybe I could watch Rebels with you again. Anyway, let me know, guys, if that's something you guys are interested in. We're still debating on whether we're going to do that or not, because Clone Wars is kind of lengthy, and we already have a lot of shit to react to. Yeah, but in general, you know, Mandalorian's been like really great on TV. I've very much enjoyed. I think it's been one of the favorite Star Wars related things that we've seen on TV in the last years, right?
Yeah.
We love Pedro Pascal. We love his performance. You know, we're also fans of his in The Last of Us, and you know, can't miss out on the other dad role he has as Mando. Yeah, I guess we're gonna cover like non-spoilery stuff first. You know, I myself, I've been a fan since the 80s. I won't lie and say that I saw A New Hope in theaters because I didn't. I was too small, too young to understand when that came out, but my mother did take me to see The Empire Strikes Back. That was officially my first experience with the movie on the big screen. She did show me the original movie first when it came out on TV before we went to see that. You know, by the time The Return of the Jedi came out, I was, you know, at that point I already had my little Star Wars figurines that are a little messed up now. Unfortunately, they don't look the way they did when she bought them for me because I let my oldest son have them when he was younger to play with. Big mistake. For him, they were just regular action figures, but
yeah.
They were supposed to be more collectible.
I mean, it happens because I broke some of his stuff too.
Yeah.
You know,
when you kids, you can't really stop that from happening. It was my fault. Like, anyway, yeah. Let's not. Let's gonna get on a different tangent. But yeah. Anyway, that's my experience. You know, I've pretty much. You really got involved with I think where you fell in love with stuff was, during the Phantom Menace era, and then, your favorite is, of course, the ultimate transformation of Anakin into Darth Vader. That's
Revenge
like
of the Sith.
your favorite movie.
I think Revenge of the Sith is the best one.
Yeah. Yeah, for me, that one.
Followed
and still,
by The Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe it would be the other way around for me just because of perspective and how I experienced it. But yeah, we love all Star Wars related
I
stuff.
don't know about Attack of the Clones. I'm not particularly fond of that one. I feel like a lot of people feel that way. But I think The Phantom Menace is cute.
Yeah.
It's like a nostalgic movie for me.
Yeah. Yeah, plus we got Darth Maul in there, so that's
yeah.
Pretty crazy one. Probably one of the best moments. But anyway, yeah, going back to Mandalorian, Grogu is the best. And yes, he did shine in this movie. I feel like, trying to keep it non-spoilery will let you guys know when the spoiler section comes in. For me, he was like the best thing in the movie.
Yeah.
Mando was great too, but really, Grogu's moments on screen were just so fucking adorable. The puppetry is amazing. You forget that he's a puppet at times, and then he's just this tiny little being that's going around like kicking ass and just being really cool and growing as, an individual. Not just his powers, but there's also like a maturity that's coming to him where he's making decisions, and it kind of feels like we're parents looking at a child grow, right? He's taking steps to coming into his own person. The visuals, of course, were fantastic.
Yeah.
All the fight scenes, the chase scenes, the music was amazing. I thought the music was like really on point.
Mm-hmm.
I forget the name of the gentleman, Ludwig something.
I think so, but I forget his name too.
Gordonson or something like that. I'm probably like fucking up his name, but Ludwig van Beethoven. No, wrong Ludwig.
I feel like, this should be kind of obvious from all the advertising and whatnot. I feel like
Ludwig Göransson. Sorry, I just wanted to say his name.
The heart and soul of the movie is the connection, but sort of father and son bond that Mando and Grogu have going on.
Yeah,
that's really like, and not just that, but the ways that the both of them can help each other and be there for each other. It's not just a matter of Din trying to protect Grogu. It's Grogu protecting him too.
Yeah, I'm gonna refer back to that in the spoiler section because there's a moment in there that really got me. Yeah, just everyone who participated. Without spoiling too much, we'll get into that spoiler section. But there is a lot of voice acting, and that was one thing that struck me in the movie because I expected to have more live people.
Yeah.
There were like a good amount, but there was a lot of puppetry and mixed with CG, but it was seamless, not to the point where the CG was jarring, like it can get sometimes in certain Star Wars movies. It just looked really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was there was quite a lot of voice acting, and it was like really awesome. And I was surprised to like realize who some of the voice actors was. One of them I absolutely recognized right away, but I guess we won't spoil that for people who want to go see it. But yeah. Anyway, there's some really interesting characters. I think we should just start talking about the spoiler stuff. If you're really a fan of Star Wars stuff, and we went and watched it on IMAX, and it looked amazing on IMAX. And yes, there was some division in opinions. Like, my youngest and my sister both were of the opinion that this is a movie, and you said kind of too, that it was a movie that could have been saved for streaming, that it would have still looked great. Personally, I don't feel that way. I feel like the choice of putting it on IMAX was spot on, and I get why Dave Filoni wanted to do that, because he's a big Star Wars nerd, and he wanted to go all out with the visuals, with the chase scenes, with the fights, with the creatures. So he wanted that to be, he wanted to film that in IMAX and have it on the big screen. You know, he's probably feeling when he does the Mandalorian show that there's so many moments that are visually so stunning that he feels that, or felt that, it would have been appreciated more on a larger scale. Which I think it did. You know, there were just certain scenes that we'll talk about in the spoiler section that just looked fucking incredible on a large screen. I was like, wow, this is just amazing, you know, and you can see all the details. But yeah, anyway, I think, you know, the movie theater experience is something worth experiencing. I wish it were cheaper. That way more people would go. But yeah, I don't know. It's kind of like not really an event anymore to go to the theaters the way it was back in the days. But you can make it an event if you want to. I mean, we kind of made it a family event.
Yeah.
You know, it's fun to go see something you like, you know, with other people and, you know, in a dark room on a very large screen. If you're down with that, then this is the way to go. This is the way. Right? IMAX is the way. Anyway, guys, let's just get into the spoiler section because there's a lot I think Adar and I want to talk about, right?
Yeah.
You've been warned. If you haven't seen the movie yet, you don't want to get spoiled, now's your time to turn off. And please don't forget to like and subscribe.
Yeah, so something that I think is interesting that they touched upon is sort of Din's obsession with, like, getting the job done. Sort of, the way that a lot of Mandalorians do. Because the movie starts, obviously, this has been in advertising, with him and Grogu, like, going after, you know, ex-Imperials that are out there, like, giving the New Republic problems, basically, because they don't want to let the Empire go. The movie starts with them on this mission to, like, capture this dude, this ex-Imperial. Make a long story short, it ends up getting hectic, and the dude manages to flee, basically. Din basically waits till the last possible second, because there are bombs about to go off, and Grogu's, like, warning him, like, you gotta get out of here.
Yeah.
And he's like, hold on, like, I gotta get this guy. Because he's flying away in, like, a pod, like a little escape ship or whatever.
Yeah.
And Mando insists on shooting the guy down with a cannon, and he manages to. He manages to blow up the ship and kill the dude.
It was a great moment, man.
But
the movie started with a bang, literally.
Yeah, they managed to just barely squeeze out of there because of that. By, like, a narrow, like... They almost died. You know, they managed to get it done, but...
He had faith in the fact that he could fly out of there with Grogu, though. I think, you know, there's one thing that you can't take away from Din is that he's very confident.
Yeah,
that he can get things done.
He knows what he's doing, but still...
I think his weakness is Grogu.
He took a big risk.
He's worried about getting Grogu harmed. Like, he knows he can handle it, but he's a father now.
Yeah.
You know, he's responsible for this little
being. He
can't
be doing all that crazy stuff.
Yeah, he's got to be careful.
They get sent after another ex-Imperial who, like, no one knows, like,
what he looks
his
like.
identity, his face, or whatever. In order to get information on this dude, Mando has to do a mission for the Hutts. Yeah. Basically.
This is where your auntie kind of fell off, I think. You know, because she's like, she was not interested. I don't know if you guys feel that way or not, but she was not interested in the Hutts at all. For me, it's really interesting because I was always, while I never liked Jabba the Hutt, I thought it was really cool that we're circling back to see what's going on with Jabba's family.
Yeah.
These two fucking twins related to him. His brother and sister or whatever. I think they're male and female, right? I'm not sure.
They just call them the twins.
The twins. Their nephew had gone missing, so he asked the New Republic, who was headed by Sigourney Weaver's character. I forget what her name was, Captain something.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'll look it up later. She's like, the mission is to rescue Rhoda, Jabba's son, from this guy who's kidnapped him, who we don't know who he looks like, and the twins will pay you handsomely, basically. But you know, basically it was the New Republic hiring him because he's like, I don't work for the Hutts.
Yeah.
I work for the New Republic. The only reason I'm here to do this job is because the New Republic sent me. It was a weird, like, deal they had going on because according to her, they were like giving intel, right? They were giving intel that was essential to the New Republic.
Yeah.
But it ended up being the other way around because they were like leaking information, right, to the Empire.
Yeah.
So that was really fucked up. But yeah, anyway, this is where it gets interesting to me because we meet Rhoda, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who, by the way, if I remember right, has been shown in Star Wars media before, but not as an adult, when he was younger, I think. Like
yes, because they showed the hologram of his face when he was a little baby.
not just that, but like I think in Clone Wars or some other animation.
Yeah, a little animation. Yeah, we've seen him before.
He did appear as a baby, I think. Like, if I'm not wrong, it might have been like the Clone Wars movie or something, where like Anakin and Ahsoka, I think, were like taking care of him or something.
Yeah,
I think so.
Who, by the way, is voiced by, I think his name is Barry Allen White.
Yeah, I could be wrong about that, but that's just what I remember. With like, it could have been some other random baby hut. But
I don't know. He's the guy from that Bear TV show, right?
I think so, yeah.
I haven't watched the show, but I know some people. Jeremy Allen. I'm calling him Barry Allen like the Flash. Jeremy Allen White. Yeah, I think he does that show called The Bear or something. The Bear. Yeah, I know it's like a really popular TV show. I don't watch that, but he's voiced by him, and I was like, I keep thinking I know who this is, but I couldn't recognize him. But the other person that's in there that's kind of really funny is this little restaurant owner who's voiced by Martin Scorsese. This is what I mean. There's like a lot of creatures and characters that are like voiced by different people, and then the little creatures that are like techs, little engineers who always call Grogu bad baby. I forget what their species is, Azulan or something like that. Anzellans. Yes, Anzellans. You're right. They're voiced by the lady who plays Moaning Myrtle in Harry Potter. I was like dying when I found that out. I'm like, are you serious? That's so cute. So yeah, there's a lot of puppetry, and I'm assuming it's mixed with a little bit of animation. But I understand Grogu is entirely a puppet.
Yeah.
Because I've seen him in interviews, and I just think it's so magical. It makes me feel a little bit how I felt, with Jim Henson and like the Muppets and everything, and watching, although they look much better now, but with his Labyrinth and Dark Crystal, like that whole puppetry, like it's different to see like puppets who look like they have like life. Obviously it's not people in suits and like a hand up the puppet or anything like that, but it's obviously got some kind of robotic something inside, but it just looks so amazing, and it's different than having just some CG character on there. I know, what's the name of this long-eared dude in the Star Wars movies who's like entirely CG? Oh no, but he did have
Jar Jar Binks.
Wasn't he like mocap or something? I think so, because there was a gentleman who showed up in the TV show later on as a Jedi, right?
Yeah.
They just looked amazing. All these creatures, the fight scenes. Because going back to Rhoda, he's he's a fighter for this guy. What's the guy's name that they're hunting? He had him fighting for him, supposedly to like become a free man in the end and like pay off whatever debt if he won the fight. But he had planned to kill him, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. He was gonna kill him, and that's when Mando steps in, and he's like, just that whole scene, he steps in and tells him, I'm gonna free you. This guy's gonna kill you. It's a lie. And he's like, no, whatever, guards, come on, he's here trying to free me, and I'm trying to like do this fight and become a free man. And he ends up pitting them against each other, right?
Yeah.
I think that whole moment was like really cool, because that's kind of the moment where they become friends, I guess, because he realized that he's been played by this dude. And I forget, at that point he didn't realize that he was the guy they were looking for, right? He just thought he was just some underworld boss who was just caging these creatures and like imprisoning creatures to fight against each other, right?
Yeah.
I mean, he was doing that on the side and obviously making money off of it, but yeah, that's the moment when I think they become kind of like friends. Of course, Grogu was captured. He was caged like just a little pet.
Yeah.
But he ended up freeing him. And then, what was it? There was a chase scene that came after that, right?
Yeah.
But he got away. Rhoda got in a vehicle and he went away, and they chased him, right?
Yeah. They managed to capture him. They took
Right.
him back to the ship.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
that's
they
when
did.
he says
That
like
net.
the guy who was forcing me to fight, who had me caged, is the guy you're looking for. That's what he tells him.
Right. He's the one that reveals the
Yeah.
identity.
And like, if you take me back to my aunt and uncle,
they're gonna kill me.
they will kill me because they don't like that I'm Jabba's heir.
Right. They wanted to take
That
over,
I'm alive.
so they wanted to kill him.
So even though I want nothing to do with the throne, because like I don't want to be associated with my father,
Yeah,
he
he
was
just
a
wanted to
terrible
be a
person.
free man.
They're still not gonna see it that way because I'm still his blood. So if I go back there, they're gonna kill me.
Right.
You know?
That's what it was. I forget that Rhoda was the one who told him about the identity. He takes him back, right?
Yeah.
And how do they end up capturing him?
I forgot, but they end up capturing him again.
No, and it was a trap that the twins had set up for Mando, because he ends up like going to like ask for his money.
No, he let Rhoda go. He let him be free, which was
That's
against
what it
the
was.
twins
That's
wanted.
what it was, and she got upset. The captain got really upset because she's like, "We had a deal with the Hutts, and you messed that up." And he brought back the guy that the one that was ex-Imperial. He brought him in, arrested, right?
Yeah.
And she's like, "Why did you let Rhoda go? That's gonna be a problem because they were helping us with intel." And that's when this fucking hunter comes in, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So they have bounty hunters and like all these like robots working for them. Yeah, one comes in with like a really cool hat. He kind of reminded me a little bit of dude with a blue face.
Cad Bane.
Cad. Thank you. I thought it was him for a minute, but I was like, no, this is just some other dude. He's just a bounty hunter. Yeah, and he came like looking for Mando and managed to trap him, right? And take him to the Hutts. He managed to knock him the fuck out with like this electricity stuff. That's what he did, right?
Yeah.
And that's when and they took off his helmet.
Yeah.
They took off his helmet and like
Huge
disgraced him.
dishonor for Mandalorians.
That's when he realizes that Rhoda had been found, because he had gotten away on that ship where he'd put him, but I guess they attacked the ship and got him, and he was tied to some bed with like electricity too, so he was supposed to suffer there in pain for like all his life. And I think they said that the Hutts live longer than humans, so he would have suffered for hundreds of years. So Rhoda looks really brolic too, man. He was like, I guess because he was a young Hutt, he wasn't like the slobby type of build that Jabba had. He was like really a fit Hutt, man.
Yeah.
So yeah, he had him. And at that point, Grogu and the little guys had seen him taken away. I forgot about that. This hunter attacked him in the house.
Yeah.
And he's like, hide under the floor, and when I signal, you go. So Grogu got to see him taken away with the little guys, and they're like, don't worry. This whole thing was really funny because the communication between Grogu and the little guys, the Anzellans, is just so funny. He's like, don't worry, baby, we'll go get Mando. The voices are like hysterical. This is why I find it so funny that Moaning Myrtle was the one who did the voices. So cute. Yeah, they managed to get a tiny ass ship where only they fit to go find Mando and wake up Rhoda, because Grogu had built up like a really cool relationship with Rhoda, right?
Yeah.
This is the crazy moment where I think it was just visually stunning, is when Mando ends up getting thrown into this pit with this giant albino snake.
Yeah.
It's just such a visual that I think translated so well on the big screen. That That creature was definitely CG. Okay? It was definitely CG. I don't think it was practical at all. But it looked amazing. It was intimidating. It was scary, but it was kind of beautiful at the same time. It had like a really crazy look to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the whole fight like underwater, and it was just like a really stressful time for him to like try to grab his helmet and not get chomped away by the snake. It was just visually like really crazy. I thought it was really well done, accompanied by the music and everything, and then the Hutts feeling entertained at the top. I thought that was really cool. Oh yeah, and Grogu and the Anzellans finding their way through like little tunnels to get to some little window that they found in the cave.
Yeah.
Oh, and somehow Grogu managed to like carry his explosives with him.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, "Hey, I got an explosive." And then it's like, "Yo, back up, man! You put that on the railing. You better go. It's gonna blow like really hard." Yeah, and of course, they blow the whole thing up. Water comes out, and they come like flushing out.
Yeah, but the problem
and he
is...
got a spear. Didn't he get a spear and stab it in the head? But he only hurt it. He only hurt it. The problem was what?
The problem is that Din was poisoned by the serpent.
Oh, right. He got a bite.
He got a bite. So they managed to save him. He got flushed out of there, but the Hutts were like, "It's all right. You're gonna die
anyway because that poison is like awful." Yeah.
They sent a bunch of battle droids after them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and they were fighting them off, and Din is like, "You know what? Oh, they made it to that ship, right?"
Yeah.
And he's like, "I can't fit in there," because it was literally a ship only large enough for Grogu and the Anzellans. It was an Anzellan ship, and
yeah,
he's like, "I can't fit in there." Like, this is where I thought they were genuinely gonna like off him, like they were done with the Mandalorian, because he's like, "You need to go."
Yeah.
You need to leave, and I will hold them off and fight them off. And you could clearly see at that point that he was struggling. He was having a hard time, and it really looked like he was gonna die. And then our homie Grogu stays behind, man. This is where I feel like this is the moment where Grogu like really grew as an individual. You know what I mean? Because he had to literally do this whole thing by himself, where he had to hide Din from the robots that were the droids that were looking for them.
Yeah.
For him specifically. And he built like a little mud hut.
I mean...
to hide him underneath all the greenery.
The name The Mandalorian and Grogu makes sense, because it's just as much his movie as it is Mando's. With this whole, like, rescue mission to go and save him and everything. Yeah,
because he goes to find, like, food, and he goes scavenging for like water and gives him water and stuff, and in that process of looking for food and water, he runs into this character which is really interesting. He's fishing, constantly stealing fish from him, and he's like, "I know you're stealing my fish, buddy," and what's the name, the hunter comes up and he questions him, right? And that's when he realizes he has a partner, and he's kind enough to not mention Grogu and Din, like he doesn't know anything about him, with that crazy looking dog he has that was sniffing him about. He's like, "Leave my fish alone." I thought that was really nice of him. But he's like, yeah, he makes this medicinal paste. He's like, it might be too late for him, but at least you can try to save your friend,
Yeah.
And it ends up working. Whatever that dude did, I don't know. He mushed together some berries and some shit, some leaves, and found the antidote to whatever that nasty snake bite was. So yeah, Din gets up. The Anzellans come back with a bigger ship, right?
Yeah.
Oh, they went to get help.
They went to get help from the rest of the New Republic.
Yeah, so she rolls in, the captain, with all the others, and they're like, "Okay, you guys need to like make it out of there, but we're gonna blow up this place." How did they get back into the Hutts? Oh, they went to rescue Rhoda.
Yeah.
Right, they went to rescue Rhoda, get him out of there. But they were like, "You need to get out before we blow this thing up." They managed to make it out in time, of course, just like the beginning. Like barely. Yeah. The whole thing blows up, and they manage to like land in the water and get out. they go back, so that's the end of the twins, I guess. You know, we can assume that they're goners, and Rhoda becomes part of the New Republic.
Yeah.
Right? Oh, and I forgot to mention like an essential character here who pops up every now and then. He had a bigger role than I thought he would. It was Zeb from the Rebels show. And he looks really good. You know, I had seen a little bit of him in the trailer, but I didn't think he would have a major role, but he was really there quite a bit to definitely part of the New Republic. He's a soldier of the New Republic, and he was there to like rescue Din and Grogu quite a few times. He was the pilot of the ship quite a bit, and had a lot of interesting moments with Din and Grogu while they were piloting. I thought it was really cool, and he looked really good. Like I said, there's sometimes when you forget that these are like puppets or people in suits or like CG characters, it just all feels like this world could exist somewhere, maybe in, you know, some other universe or galaxy far, far away, right? It was just interesting to me that Rhoda became part of the New Republic, and that's where, you know, my sister was like, it was kind of like okay for me. I wasn't interested in that, but I thought it was cool. It was kind of like, for me, it felt like a full circle moment, kind of, you know, how Jabba had, you know, really fucked over Han Solo and made a mess of things in The Return of the Jedi, and to see his son be completely different and his own person and end up fighting with the New Republic to make sure that no Imperials came about messing things up again. It was just a lovely full circle to me, you know?
Yeah.
And I love that Zeb was like, you know, how are you going to find like a suit big for me? He's like, oh, I got a suit big enough for you. Don't worry.
Yeah.
We got some big soldiers around here, so I thought that was nice. Oh, Din, and it's a nice moment. Din and Grogu kind of take off in their ship, and he lets him fly.
He lets him do the jump.
Right. He lets him do the jump. Because he's realized at that point that he's grown, you know? Oh, and that's the moment that I wanted to talk about. That's the part that got me teary-eyed. When he says, you know, the young take care of the old, but there comes a point... No, the old take care of the young. There comes a point when the young take care of the old. When he realized that, you know, he could have died there, but the one that saved him, you know, thanks to the
Grogu.
friend that Grogu made,
Yeah.
it was Grogu. Grogu hid him. Grogu fed him. Grogu gave him water, and Grogu found a way to give him medicine. So
he's capable.
Yeah. So he's like, you know, I'm scared because I have this little being that I need to protect. I'm basically his father. But I also know that, you know, with his abilities and that he's grown and become more independent, if there comes a time when I don't exist anymore, he'll be able to handle himself.
Yeah.
You know, I thought that moment was so special and so endearing and, you know, just sad but heartwarming at the same time, you know?
That ties back to, I think, what I was talking about before, and what I think is the whole message of the movie is that, like, you know, like relationships and bonds like this based on trust are a two-way street.
Yeah.
There can't be one person doing all the heavy lifting. And Mando felt like he had to take everything onto his own shoulders, because that's just the type of person he's always been.
Yeah.
Always trying to, like, do too much, basically, and, like, leave all the work to himself. And he's just like, I'll protect Grogu the whole way, like, you know. My way is the way to get things done.
That was his duty in the beginning, to protect the little one that was so precious and wasn't capable of taking care of himself.
But now that's changed.
That's very much what a parent does when you have a baby, right? The baby can't fend for itself. So you do whatever you can to protect that baby.
But that has changed. Now that Grogu is more capable, now that he's shown the ability to, like...
He can survive in the wild. He
can
can make his own decisions. He can tell when he's in danger or when someone he loves is in danger.
This...
He's a little badass, dude.
Movie, I think, is about Mando learning that and coming to terms with that. He's like...
Grogu's growth and Mando learning.
I tried to take everything onto my own shoulders and protect him, like, to the very end. I tried to send him away so that I could, like, sacrifice myself and die here for him to
Grogu wasn't
escape.
about that, man.
He came back of his
You're
own
like, I'm
power
not leaving
and
you.
his own
I'm
will,
helping you.
and he saved my life.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be here if he weren't here. So that's
Yeah.
sort of like, I think, his moment of realization where he's like, the
He
kid's
can make
grown.
decisions for himself.
I can trust him now.
Yeah.
You know, I can put more faith in him to have my back the same way I had his up until now.
Mm-hmm. And they're very capable because
he's starting
both
to
together are
reciprocate.
like such a team because there's moments when they fight together that, you know, even those little moments when, you know, Mando's like standing by the wall and like Grogu goes into the little window and then he goes on the other side and opens the door for him. I'm like, they're such a team, the two of them, you know? It's like you said, it's not just all about what Din Djarin can do, it's about what Grogu can do as well.
Yeah.
You know, the way he tore up the robot in the beginning, remember? He just like, that little robot that was like chasing them?
Yeah.
He dismantled that whole thing with his ability. Oh, and that moment too when he lifted Rhoda up, because all the Hutts fell into the pit. That's another thing, that the snake ended up swallowing the twins. That's how that they actually went down. They actually got
Grogu
swallowed.
Lifted up a whole hut with the Force.
Yeah, the twins got swallowed by the albino snake. I forgot about that when they were fighting. And he's like, the twins are like, you're gonna kill us all, because they were swabbing, all three of them. They were fighting. And then you see Rhoda just float up out of the pit. I'm like, he's strong, man, because that's got to be heavy for him.
Yeah.
You know? I thought that was really awesome. You just really get a sense of... He really earned his name in that title, like you said. Because you really get a sense of him, like, coming into his own in this movie. And that's why I think it was kind of important to have it on the big screen. Because just like Grogu has had his own personal growth, you know, this IP has grown, right? The story has grown, it's expanded. Now we've got new members in the New Republic. Shit, you know, like, can't even imagine what it's going to be like next season. Are we going to get a next season? I don't even know. What was the number of the last season? Was it season 3?
3. Something that it makes me like curious about. I was wondering about how far into the future they're going to go with the Mandalorian. How much time is going to pass? Because
oh shit, there's no season 4.
That's just the end of the series?
The Mandalorian season 4 is effectively cancelled as a television series. Instead, showrunner Jon Favreau and Lucasfilm reworked their original 4th season plans into the theatrical feature film. So that's why they ended it in a movie.
Yeah.
So is there going to be another movie? I don't know. The original season 4 scripts were heavily serialized, tying directly into the Ahsoka series and the return of Grand Admiral Thrawn. Right. These were set aside in favor of the new movie. Yeah, it remains unconfirmed, but as of now, it looks like it's, you know, if ideas are ever adapted, it's going to depend heavily on the box office reception of The Mandalorian and Grogu. So yeah, so it's going to depend on the reception of the movie. But as of now, it looks like it's canceled. So if we get to see Din or Grogu again, it's going to be either in the Ahsoka series or some other spin-off.
Yeah.
Wow, man.
Honestly, I would be
fine.
I would be satisfied if they ended their character arc here, because it feels like they got across what they needed to get across here.
That
with
they're
Grogu sort of
a supportive team of each other. That you know, Grogu, like we just said, coming into his own and not being the baby he needed to care for anymore.
And Din learning to accept that and learning to accept that it's okay to have help. Because that's sort of a theme that throughout the whole series he was like sort of trying to understand, because he was always trying to do everything alone, because he was alone in the beginning.
Yeah, man.
But you had like Bo-Katan, you had like all these other characters who came in, like
that's right.
He sort of realized, you know, without these people, where would I be? You know,
right? I
can't do it all by myself.
I gotta have some kind of a team and a network, and that's also something that was brought up with Sigourney Weaver's character too, the captain. He's like, you know, he continues to call himself, you know, I'm just a bounty hunter. Yeah. That's it. But she has that moment where I forget exactly what it is. She said, she's like, no, you're part of the New Republic. Yeah. You know, like you're working for the New Republic, then you're part of the New Republic. He said something like, I'm an independent contractor, right? She's like,
Yeah.
no, not really. You work for me. Your New Republic. You know, again, it's him having to admit, like, hey, I'm working with this network of people and I'm not alone in this, you know?
Yeah.
And my skills can be used to something good, not just like hunting heads.
One of the theories I had for what this movie was going to be
Mm.
was that Mando was going to die, and the whole theme was going to be like a passing of the torch thing, where Grogu's
thought
like,
so.
alright, I have to take that up now. They managed to still get that passing of the torch idea across without him having to die.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think that's effective, the way they did
Yeah.
that, because it still got the message across.
It's still a passing of the torch that here one day Mandalorian might die, but it's going to be okay when he does, because he's going to be okay. He won't be left alone in the world and unprotected, because he can handle himself in the wild and he can handle himself against bad guys. And one day he's just going to be just as badass or even better than Yoda.
Yeah.
You know?
I wonder...
So cool, man.
That's what I'm saying. Is like, I wonder if we'll ever explore like a more distant future for the two of them in some form, when like Mando is old. And
a more mature Grogu. I don't know.
Unfortunately, because of
Dave
how...
Filoni, we want you to do that, okay? It would be nice to see an older, more mature Grogu. Perhaps not as old as Yoda, but, you know, a Grogu that can really handle himself, that's older, that can maybe speak a little bit more. And an older Din. It would be nice to see that full circle.
By the time Din is old, at most, Grogu's probably still going to be a toddler. Probably the equivalent of like a 3, 4, 5-year-old child by the time he passes. So we're not gonna get to see much of an older Grogu until many, many decades or centuries pass, if they decide to go that far into the future.
Din has already been gone by that time. Yeah.
But I would be interested to see like
flashbacks,
more of that.
Yeah.
You know, like more.
I don't know. Would you guys be interested in seeing that? You know, for those of you who've seen the movie, is that something you guys would want to watch? I know I would. I love these characters, and you know, when it's well done, I love Star Wars.
He's got to give that man the best funeral in the world when he passes.
Oh hell
man.
yeah! Shit,
he's got to pull a whole like ceremony for
him. Fuck yeah. Anyway, I said we were gonna like make this short, and you know, it's been I think about 40 minutes since we started this whole thing.
We said everything we really needed.
Yeah, I think we covered almost everything. You know, like, are there any characters that we left out that we might have not mentioned? No.
Not really.
So the essential important stuff, all the main events. Anyway, if you guys feel like we left out anything important and there was something that you liked about the movie that you'd like to mention, any trivia that we might be missing out on, we'd love to know. Comment down below, please. Do not forget to like and subscribe, get notified so you get more content. There is a lot more content coming up. We will be doing more movie reviews, and of course there's a lot of shows that we're still watching, both live action and animated, both just by myself and with Adar. So if you'd like to see more of us on YouTube, more of this channel, hit that bell. We'll catch you guys in the next video. Take care, everybody. Bye.